The sun beat down on the savanna, turning the grass to a brittle brown. A pride of lions, led by the fearsome Scar, lay sprawled in the shade of a lone acacia tree. Scar, his mane tangled mess of black and brown, surveyed his domain with a glint in his eyes. Among the lionesses, there was one named Kira, a young lioness with a spirit as fiery as the midday sun. Kira was different from the other lionesses. She wasn't content to obey Scar's orders and hunt for him. She had a mind of her own, a curiosity that led her to explore beyond the hunting grounds. One day, while the other lionesses were out hunting, Kira wandered off, drawn by the sound of a babbling brook. She followed the sound, her curiosity leading her deeper into the savanna. Soon, she found herself in a lush valley, a stark contrast to the dry, barren landscape she was accustomed to. In the valley, she met a group of zebras, their coats sleek and shiny, their eyes wide with curiosity. Kira, used to the harshness of her own pride, was surprised by the zebra's gentleness. They welcomed her into their midst, sharing their food and stories. Kira learned about the zebra's way of life, their respect for the land and their deep connection to each other. She was fascinated by their social structure, where every member of the herd had a role to play. She learned about the importance of cooperation and the dangers of selfishness. As the days turned into weeks, Kira found herself drawn to the zebra's way of life. She admired their strength, their resilience, and their unwavering loyalty to each other. She began to question the way of life in her own pride, where fear and intimidation were the norm. One day, Kira was playing with a zebra named Zui when they were startled by a rustle in the bushes. A hyena, its eyes gleaming with hunger, emerged from the shadow. Zui, terrified, froze in place. Kira, remembering the lessons she had learned from zebras, faced the hyena. The hyena, taken aback by Kira's courage, hesitated. It knew that a fight with a lioness would be dangerous. Seeing its hesitation, Kira charged, her claws extended. The hyena, sensing the danger, turned and fled. Zui, watching in awe, realized Kira was a hero. News of Kira's bravery reached Scar, who was furious. He saw Kira as a threat to his authority, a rebel who dared to defy his orders. He vowed to punish her, to make an example of her to the other lionesses. Scar confronted Kira, his voice dripping with venom. "You have disobeyed me," he growled. "You have consorted with the enemy, the very prey we are supposed to hunt." Kira stood her ground, her eyes meeting Scar's with unwavering defiance. Kira refused to back down. "I believe in a different way of life, a way of life where strength is not measured by how many we kill, but by how we live." Scar was enraged. He lunged at Kira, his claws raking her side. Kira cried out in pain, but she did not cower. The other lionesses, watching in horror, saw an opportunity. They had long resented Scar's tyranny, his cruelty, his disregard for their well-being. They saw in Kira a symbol of hope, a beacon of defiance. One by one, the lionesses rose to their feet, their eyes blazing with defiance. They surrounded Scar, their voices a chorus of protest. "We will not be ruled by fear," they roared. "We will not be slaves to your tyranny." Scar, outnumbered and outmatched, was forced to retreat. He slunk away, defeated, his reign of terror finally over. Kira, battered but unbowed, looked at her fellow lionesses, her eyes filled with pride. They had stood together, they had defied their oppressor, and they had emerged victorious. From that day on, the pride of lions lived in peace, not as hunters and prey, but as equals. They learned to respect the land, to live in harmony with the other animals of the savanna. Kira, the lioness who had dared to defy Scar, became their leader, a symbol of hope and courage. And so, the savanna was transformed, not by force or violence, but by compassion and courage.